I was standing on the African plateau when I heard the news about Wendy getting married. My high school friend's voice came through intermittently. Back then, everyone thought you two would end up together. Mark, you thinking about flying back to crash the wedding? The incredible sight of the animal migration in front of me was a reminder of how precious life is. This was Africa's unique kind of romance. Have I really moved on? I just stared blankly, gave a little chuckle, and thought to myself, those are old matters, what's the point in bringing them up again? But no one expected Wendy to travel over 10,000 kilometers to Africa the next day. She said, "I'm here for an answer." The signal was patchy in this place, and my friend's voice was coming through in bits and pieces from the phone. He was rambling on, and I replied absent-mindedly. The sound on the other end got quieter, a bit hesitant. "Mark, did you know Wendy's getting married?" Hearing that name after 3 years gave me a bit of a jolt. Random memories flashed in my head, and these long-hidden memories were a bit painful. Mark, are you listening to me?" I snapped back to reality and said, "I'm here, go on." "Do you know who Wendy's marrying?" "It's Eric, the guy who used to run after her all the time in school." "Well, Eric has liked Wendy for years. Guess he's finally getting what he wanted." I barely murmured an aha. "Speaking of which, everyone thought that you and Wendy would end up together." My friend sounded somewhat regretful. "Mark, you thinking about flying back to crash the wedding? With how the class president was into you back in high school, if you just showed up, Eric wouldn't stand a chance." The more he talked, the more he digressed. I frowned and interrupted. "Those are old matters. What's the point in bringing them up again? You can joke around like that with me, but don't go spreading rumors. Wendy's getting married now." "Oh, I'm not making stuff up. Back then, when you went abroad, Wendy tried to—" "What? I didn't catch that." The call was so glitchy it was impossible to have a conversation, so I just hung up. Summer in G-City wasn't like Africa at this time. Even the breeze carried a bit of heat, and any slight movement would drench you in sweat. Wendy and I met during a hot summer, amidst the buzz of cicadas. My aunt was speaking to my new homeroom teacher about my enrollment. "Our Mark has always been a good kid, obedient and hardworking. It's just that he had a tough fate, losing his parents in that accident." Her voice cracked with emotion, and my aunt shed a few tears while the teacher tried to comfort her. I was staring at my shoelaces. The office didn't have air conditioning, and just standing there for a bit made me feel sticky and uncomfortable. It was too hot. I didn't really like G-City. I also didn't like the pitying looks from the people around me. Even though my aunt meant well, hoping the teacher would look after me since I was now an orphan. The teacher's eyes on me felt like needles. Memories of that horrific scene played out again. My parents trying to shield me while I tried to stop the bleeding in vain. My eyes darted about, trying to shift my attention away and calm my restlessness. A girl about my age was sitting on a stool, unbothered by her surroundings, focused on grading papers. Maybe she'd been called in by one of the teachers to help. Surprisingly, this calmed me down a bit. My aunt continued, "This kid witnessed his own parents' deaths. The doctor said Mark has PTSD and temporarily can't speak. But teachers, rest assured, our Mark is smart. The inability to speak is just temporary." I blinked slowly and just stared at that girl. Maybe sensing my gaze, she looked up. She was stunning, in a way that could only be described as bright and beautiful. Wendy's smile lit up as she waved and mouthed, "Hi, I'm Wendy." I signed back, "Hello." Wendy dragged her chair with enough noise to drown out my aunt's voice. All the eyes that were on me shifted to Wendy. The teacher couldn't handle it anymore. "Wendy, is your chair full of pins, or what? Keep it down." She didn't care and walked straight over to me, done with my grading. Her slender, pale hand grabbed my wrist, sending a tingling sensation through me. "I'll show the new student around. You've got all these teachers hovering around him, scaring him half to death." She wasn't particularly tall, but I had to look slightly down at her, meeting her smiling eyes. Ignoring the teachers calling after us, Wendy led me out of the office, and I just followed dumbly. "Officially, I'm Wendy, the class president. If you ever need anything, just come to me." The sun hitting her amber eyes made her seem full of life. It was hard not to admire just how bright and vibrant she was. I pointed to my throat, indicating I couldn't talk, and pulled out a small notebook to write, "Hi, I'm Mark." Feeling it was a bit stiff, I drew a smiley face afterward. Wendy took the notebook, the smile in her eyes spreading even wider. Later, I asked her why she'd taken me away that first time we met. She answered nonchalantly, "Because you were asking me for help, remember?" Wendy shifted her books to sit next to me and winked as she turned away from the blackboard. I laughed a bit. Having an outgoing, helpful class president as a deskmate was probably the teacher's doing. I took back what I thought of Wendy earlier. She was the most chatty, self-introduced person I'd ever met. "Hey, how did you learn sign language?" I wrote, "It's not hard. I can teach you if you want." "Can you swear at someone in sign language? If you wanted to cuss someone out, would you have to move your hands super fast?" Her questions came too fast for me to keep up. I just looked at her, chuckling, and signed. What does that mean? I can't read that." Wendy scratched her head, puzzled. "Trust me, I don't need to hurry to cuss you out." I thought Wendy was just a chatterbox, but after spending some time together, I realized she only babbled like this with me. I never quite got it, how she managed to keep a conversation going with someone who couldn't talk. It wasn't until later that I accidentally found books on psychology in her desk. Wendy, somehow, got the idea that when dealing with someone who has closed themselves off due to stress disorders, you should constantly try to find topics that interest them to get them to open up. A truly earnest, somewhat naive person. I swear I won't use sign language to mumble about Wendy to her face anymore. It's not cool to mess with someone so sweet. Adjusting to the new environment was a bit tough for me. The classmates were curious about me initially, but after realizing how hard it was to communicate with me, they didn't bother anymore. I didn't mind, but Wendy got anxious. That's not okay. People are social creatures. How can you not make friends? I answered half-heartedly, "Isn't that what you're here for? You're my friend, right?" Wendy stammered, "Well, that's not enough." She became passionate about introducing me to her friends, taking me everywhere with her, acting like a social butterfly. Then I realized Wendy really was popular. She had friends everywhere. I mean, it's no surprise. Outgoing, positive, and straightforward people are always welcome. Thanks to her, I gradually became part of the group. The new math teacher seemed gentle, except for the fact he liked calling on students randomly. "Mark, could you answer this question?" I was startled and locked eyes with the teacher's gentle gaze. A girl's mocking voice piped up from the back. "Teacher, he can't talk. Why'd you call on him?" I turned to see it was someone I never interacted with. Sensing my gaze, the girl rolled her eyes at me. Nearby, someone quietly explained the situation to the math teacher, who looked a bit embarrassed and apologized. "Sorry, Mark, I wasn't aware of your situation." I clenched my fists, sitting in silence, but Wendy yanked me up with force. "Hey, teacher, that's favoritism. You're letting Mark off the hook just because you think he can't answer? We're all here to learn. No one's better than anyone else. He just can't speak right now. Can't he write the answer?" Wendy emphasized right now. She poked me with her pen. "Go on. You always chat with me so much." Her biggest difference was that she didn't treat me like something fragile. She didn't look at me with pity. To her, I was a regular person. Not speaking wasn't a big deal. Still, Wendy taking me to karaoke? Like I can sing. While eating in the cafeteria, I blended into the crowd and quietly stuck out my leg when no one was watching. The girl who mocked me fell, her lunch spilling everywhere. Serves her right for calling me mute. I slipped back into the group, only to look back and meet Wendy's amused gaze. Oh no, caught in the act. Who was it? Who's careless enough to trip me? Wendy quickly pulled me behind her tiny figure standing firmly in front of me. The girl in front kept whining. I tried to sneak a peek, but Wendy nudged me back with her hand. Her warmth blazed through the thin school uniform. "You're really warm." With a chatty companion who didn't know sign language, I was used to carrying paper and pen. Wendy didn't expect my first message, "Don't change the subject." She chuckled, "Didn't know you held grudges like that." I pulled away from Wendy, grinning at her. "What? Gonna turn me in MS? Perfect?" Miss Justice herself, Wendy chased after me. "What image do you have of me?" "Really?" Caught off guard by her words, I sincerely apologized and explained. No one noticed. I checked. Nobody noticed except I did. She giggled. I quickly scribbled, realizing it could be misinterpreted, and was about to rip it off. But Wendy, leaning closer, blushed. I'm off to lunch. Later, Wendy came by with a package. Try some of our local treats. I wrote, why are you side-eyeing me instead of looking straight? Confused, Wendy asked, why aren't you speaking? You don't like it? I sighed. This oblivious sweetheart didn't see the note. I waved it in front of her. If you want to admire me, feel free. I know I'm handsome. Wendy scanned my face, smiled. Yeah, you are. Her straightforwardness left me speechless. I wrote awkwardly, fanning myself, it's quite hot. My face is red. She replied, sure is, but the magnolia leaves outside were already gone, signaling fall. The yard, once vibrant, was in decay. Since my parents passed, I often volunteered at the orphanage. The place was outdated, and the kids had their own issues. You're back. Amy loves your clean scent, she said carefully with her cane. Her eyes were cloudy, blind since birth and abandoned too soon. I playfully lifted Amy high. Missed me? Yeah. We had math and I did well. Watching her animatedly share stories filled me with joy. I'd respond back and forth easily. Mark, Wendy exclaimed, watching my interaction. I turned, tense, but relaxed, seeing it's her. Why are you here? Eyes narrowed, Wendy pitched, we video called last night. What? Did some miracle cure you overnight? I awkwardly touched my nose. Not like I could just say it was all an act. Wendy shot a stare at me, the clueless one just standing there, and exaggeratedly said, did I see wrong? How could this be, my little desk buddy? Yesterday, she turned me down for a trip to the amusement park, claiming she was busy. Guilt multiplied. Whatever explanation I had planned just wouldn't come out. I silently turned and went to the kitchen. It was time to make food for the little ones. A little girl whispered in my ear, that sister wanted me to tell you if you don't make it up to her soon, she'll really get mad. What? Wendy hadn't left yet? I thought she was long gone and furious. I rushed to leave what I was doing and, sure enough, saw that stubborn figure crouched by the door. I mimicked her by crouching down and started inching towards Wendy. As I inched, Wendy inched too. I grabbed her arm. Stop moving or you'll fall off. Wendy huffed, why do you even care? What am I to you? There are tons of people more important than me. Go make them food. Leave me to starve or die from anger. I was floored. What a jumble of nonsense. I do care. I just didn't want us to say things we don't mean when we're upset. I was just picking vegetables inside and thinking of how to apologize to you. Really? I turned her head to see her eyes glisten with unshed tears and hesitated before speaking. Did you cry? Wendy buried her head on my shoulder, her muffled voice trailing through. Yeah, sorry. I looked to the sky, feeling an unexpected relief. There are loads of rumors about my parents at school, and they're not all true. They're aide doctors in Africa, so I grew up bouncing around different relatives' homes. I recalled childhood, noting by elementary school I realized I was different. Others had their parents around. I cried out for mine, but the adults said their work was important, and I should stop making a fuss. I was heartbroken. My parents ended up having to come back during vacations to spend time with me in Africa sometimes. I then changed the topic abruptly. Wendy, have you seen the Great Migration? I'll take you someday. Wendy blinked, her long lashes tickling my skin. All right, we'll go together. They promised to come back for my birthday but canceled last minute due to work. I got angry and said I'd run away, like some immature kid. My parents rushed back, booking a flight that night. I expected scolding but got none. Instead, they made up for the lost birthday. My throat tightened, and I sniffed. The day they left, I went with them to the airport. We got hit by a drunk driver on the way. I always thought they didn't love me, but when it came down to it, they protected me first. Mom's last words were, Mark, don't blame yourself. We failed you. She knew me so well, comforting me in her last moments. Midnight wakes, questioning if my tantrum hadn't happened. Would they still be here? Tears stung as I cried. I didn't mean to shut people out. I just didn't know how to face this. Wendy held me close, patting my back. It wasn't your fault. Let it out. Crying's okay. Mark, a new day is ahead. I swear Wendy was just passing me a glass of water. Everyone went ooh teasingly. I glanced over at Wendy next to me, noticing her smug smile. Can't even. I nudged her with my elbow. Wendy stood and coughed. What's everyone doing? I'm just practicing teamwork and friendship. The laughter got more suggestive. Oh, we know. With studies being so mundane, any juicy gossip spread like wildfire. Holy moly, Mark, get down there. Quick. It was Billy from the back seat, as I looked up confused. I was about to ask what was up when Wendy, our class rep, got confessed to by Eric from the other class. Rumor had it they've known each other forever, and Eric transferred here just for her. I thought it over. Eric? That nice-looking, hard-working guy next door? Billy shook my shoulder. What are you thinking, Mark? If you don't move, Wendy might get swept away. I passed over a note. Billy read it, surprised to find. If she can be taken, she's better off with him. He leaned back, thumbs up. Look at Mark's cool composure and Wendy's anxious, flustered reaction below. Mark's totally got her under his control. On a rare PE day with the classroom mostly empty, Wendy lay face down on the desk, pretending to nap. Underneath those carefully arranged piles, she hooked her pinky with mine, teasing, "Why'd you go telling everyone I'm a wildcat? Always the cool big sis out there." But she loved being playful just with me. I gave her hand a playful shake. Wendy lifted her head, hair a mess, anxious to explain. I didn't even touch Eric. Had to let him down easy, couldn't humiliate him in front of everyone. Like a Persian kitten you just want to cuddle. With no one around, I stole a kiss on her cheek. Crash. Books and chairs toppled. Wendy, too tongue-tied to speak properly, stammered, What was that? Freaking out yet trying to play it cool. Feeling great. I grinned. Wendy, after finals, will you be with me? Time flew by, finals and summer together easing in. Another hot summer. With finals about 2 weeks away, tension snapped tight as strings ready to launch. All personal feelings took a back seat to the bigger life step. Recently, both Wendy and I have been getting all jittery and stressed, breaking out with cold sores on our lips. Billy came over with a problem. Mark, could you help me take a look at this question? I walked him through it step by step. Where did Wendy go? Billy casually asked. I scribbled on the blank part of my draft paper. She went to get something to drink. Billy was already used to how the two of us got along. It wasn't like we had some super intimate and ambiguous relationship. But there was this special vibe between us that nobody else could really get into. She must be getting you some herbal tea to cool off, right? Faced with my friend's teasing, I neither nodded nor denied it, just smiled back at him. Billy surrendered with both hands up. All right, guess I asked for nothing. The sky outside was filled with clouds, hot with no breeze. The school wanted us to study without distractions, so they even caught the cicadas in the trees outside. Everyone was racing against time with their studies, and all you could hear was the sound of pens scratching on paper. Wendy and I weren't on the same academic level, so I just tried to plan as best as I could, hoping we could attend school in the same city. That way, we could chase our passions while staying close to each other. Wendy didn't seem to care. What's the big deal? I can just go to the school you like. I don't want us to be apart. I gave her a gentle tap on the head with my pen. Wendy, we can never sacrifice our futures for someone else. Wendy yelped in feigned pain. But you're not someone else. Out of breath, a voice came from behind. I wondered who would be running so fast in this heat. Mark, something's happened to Wendy. My heart pounded erratically. I ran as fast as I could, even losing a shoe. I tripped and fell several times, palms stinging. By the time I got there, all that was left was a large pool of blood on the ground and a helpless-looking Eric. Wendy! My voice was so sharp and hoarse that I couldn't believe it was my own. People formed a circle and whispered, "Isn't that the mute from Wendy's class? Speaking now? Oh my God, he's talking. Poor guy, Wendy got hurt because of another boy. She bled so much. Her hand might be ruined." I stood there, bewildered and powerless. Billy arrived and covered my ears. Mark, don't listen. Classmates started shoving the gawkers away. What are you guys talking about? Get lost. Wendy's hand wasn't useless, but she definitely couldn't take the college entrance exam coming up. She looked pale as she spoke, a bit aggrieved. What took you so long to get here? I kept my head down, quietly peeling an apple, busy studying. Wendy tried all sorts of ways to sweet talk and explain, but I ignored her. Her expression cooled. Eric was surrounded by bullies. I couldn't just stand by. I knew what she was upset about. Upset that I didn't care about her injuries. Upset that I stayed stony-faced despite her efforts. Upset that she was being cold-shouldered. But weren't these consequences of her choices? I shut my eyes, striving for a calm tone. Are you a little kid, Wendy? If someone was in danger, couldn't you call the police or ask someone for help? Didn't you notice the school security guard nearby? Did you have to step in and play hero? You're about to graduate high school, aren't you aware of that? Don't you care about your hands? Don't you care about the future I planned for us? What do your promises mean to me if you act like that? Did you even think about me when you rushed in? Wendy held back tears. What are we? Anyway, do I even have the right to think about you? I scoffed. How heartless of you to say that. Is it your hero complex or just because it was Eric? Wendy shot back, reckless with her words. Not everyone is as cold as you. Yeah, I helped him because it was Eric. I stood up and headed out the door. There's nothing more to say. Fine, leave then. See if I care. I took a step out before being grabbed tightly. Wendy's sobs breaking through. I'm sorry, Mark. I was just rambling. Please don't be mad. This is my fault, all my fault. Will you wait for me? Just give me a year. I carefully opened Wendy's grip, one finger at a time. Wendy, I won't stop moving forward for anyone. Tears streamed down her face, and she gritted her teeth. If you leave, don't come back. I chuckled lightly. Always tough, never growing up. I signed with a gesture meaning jerk, and goodbye forever. As soon as I left the room, things started crashing around inside. At the door, classmates looked worried. Mark. I kept it together. She's fine. Go check on her. Wendy wiped her tears. Crying's no help. He doesn't care about me. Hey, it's okay. Our class rep is smart. Repeating a grade for a year isn't a big deal. Yeah, exactly, others chimed in. Billy broke the silence. You shouldn't have said that to Mark. He really cares about you. His own hands haven't even healed yet. After a pause, someone spoke up. You really shouldn't have messed with Mark like that. Things got quieter. The college entrance exam day brought heavy rain, a sort of unspoken tradition here in G-City. My palms still hurt a bit, but it didn't affect my writing. On the last day, when we left the exam room, it was a sunny day. My aunt wore her new cheapao dress. Beautiful. Another milestone achieved. My illness is gone, and I can feel at peace with my sister. My aunt handed me a big red envelope. Good things are coming for you, Mark. I skipped the final class gathering and spent a few days at a temple where my parents' memorial tablets were kept. I watched the comings and goings of visitors, sometimes helping the young monks with sutra copying, just passing time. Billy mentioned that Wendy had been waiting with flowers, but I didn't pay attention. My aunt thought I was too reclusive and worried I'd become a monk. She urged me to travel. I ended up going to Africa where some of my parents' colleagues looked after me. I stayed there until it was time for school to start. I didn't focus on sightseeing but wandered around, shopping, walking the paths my parents once walked, observing life they had seen. On the first day of school, I boarded the plane with my luggage in hand. Aunt called me up to nag. Kid, you've been out there for so long and haven't come home. Should Auntie buy a ticket to visit your school? You're just a young guy and have so many things at the start of the school year. Everyone else has family with them, but you're all alone. I had to say a lot of nice things to get her off that idea. The plane shot through the clouds, and the view from above was endless. Buildings that seemed so big now looked tiny like ants. I felt an unexpected calm. Nothing's wrong, and it's exactly how I imagined. I blinked. I'm just missing someone beside me. Hey, do you know that girl over there? She keeps looking at you, a stranger kindly mentioned. Wendy stood at a distance looking defeated. Nope, I don't know her, but thanks for the heads up. I'll be careful, I said with a smile. I walked ahead while Wendy followed closely. Hearing me say I didn't know her made her look even paler. Actually, she was there on registration day. I have no idea how she knew which school I applied to. She squatted by the flower bed, eyes red, and when I turned to look, she quickly hid behind a tree, stumbling and falling awkwardly. A real mess. Since then, Wendy popped up often in my life. First sneaky and hidden, then intentionally getting noticed, and now following me like a stalker. I never said a word. The sky unleashed a downpour. My roommate pulled back the bed curtain. "Mark, you awake? That girl's still standing downstairs." I froze. He continued, "Seems like there's lightning too." I grabbed a jacket and an umbrella, finally giving in. Wendy's eyes lit up. I threw the umbrella at her. "You crazy? It's raining, go find some cover." She was drenched and didn't dare touch me. "I'm happy, Mark. Honestly, it's my fault, I was an idiot. I shouldn't have ever asked you to wait for me. Let me just catch up. Please don't give up on me." I stayed silent as rain ran salty into my mouth. "Go back and study. Focus on your exams." Wendy begged, "Okay, I will. I'll study hard." "Mark, maybe just reply to me sometimes? I'm not asking for a lot, just 1 or 2 messages." "Fine." Seeing me slightly soften, Wendy started clinging on. She'd call and complain about the stress of retaking exams. I mocked her for bringing it on herself. Often, we'd hang up in frustration. Unless we avoided the topic, conversations stayed civil. I never thought Wendy's mom would come looking for me. "Mark, I've seen your profile. You're impressive," she started. I felt my palms sweat. "Thanks, ma'am." The elegant woman sipped her coffee. "Your parents were great, but sad they passed early. My daughter, it seems, is very fond of you, so much that she's neglecting her studies. I know you met her in the orphanage. From then, it should have been clear you're from different worlds. One's a rich heiress using charity to bolster her family's name. The other, a volunteer with no status. My daughter already missed an important exam for a man. I can't let her ruin herself further. You're great, but our family won't allow a penniless orphan to marry into it." That was it. I couldn't take it and splashed coffee in her face. "That's for disrespecting my parents. Whatever's between Wendy and me is none of your business. If you could control her, you wouldn't have traveled here just to scold me. Since you're so well off, just send Wendy overseas. Or is she refusing to go?" Her face flushed with anger. Of course, Wendy was unwilling to leave. I blocked her incoming slap. "You might want to treat me decently, or I'll just spill the beans to Wendy. I have class, so I'll leave. Also, make sure you pay for the coffee." Wendy called, and I was ready to tell on her mom. "Mark, who's the girl in that photo with you?" I frowned. "Which girl?" "The one hugging you. How can she hold on to you like that?" I was losing patience. "Told you it's my senior. How many times do I have to explain? Besides, it's just an optical illusion." Wendy's mom kept meddling with my scholarship, and Wendy's jealousy was suffocating. These two had pushed me to the edge. During a club gathering, Wendy called, and my senior answered. Wendy screamed over the phone, embarrassing my senior. We left the party in a mess. Her mom messed up my scholarship. Wendy kept creating drama. I'd had enough. "Talk to me when you're calm. We can avoid saying things we don't mean. You're just ignoring me again. You call it dealing with things, but it's just silent treatment. Do you think I don't know you've moved on? That you're sick of me? You've never cared about me, right? I'm like a pet to you. You toy with me when it pleases you and forget me when it doesn't. I'm so into you, but you keep acting so cold." Unspoken complications, endless fighting, unresolved gaps, the distance and strained communication, the trouble caused by her mom, and Wendy's immaturity, an unclear future. My head throbbed, veins pulsing, as I clutched my phone. "Wendy, why do you think you can tell me who to be friends with? And there's one thing you're right about. I've never liked you." After that, I heard Wendy went overseas. We lost contact. Buried in my studies, I didn't have the time to dwell on it. After graduation, I took a job opportunity in Africa. Once my workday was done, I sighed in relief. Seeing Billy's name pop up on my phone, I chuckled. Why has he been calling me so much lately? What's up? Don't tell me you're calling about Wendy's wedding too. There was a pause on the other end. Mark, Wendy ran away from the wedding. I think she might come looking for you. I was stunned for a moment, then laughed. Come on, we dated 7 years ago. What is there to remember about such an immature relationship? You might not care, but Wendy's never really let go. Billy sighed. When you went to Africa, Wendy went nuts trying to find out what happened to you. She's been pushing her family's business into Africa like crazy. You really believe she's over you? I stared off into space. How could that be? Billy sounded frustrated. Fine, let's not talk about Wendy. What about you? Do you really not care? An early love that never got off the ground. That shining light during your lowest times. Someone who stuck around despite all the harsh words. And then you find out they've been waiting all these years. Billy didn't buy that. Mark was indifferent. If he was over it, he wouldn't still be alone. I stayed quiet, then mumbled, I've never regretted the decisions I made back then. Mark, that's all in the past. But if Wendy does come, I hope you can just talk to her. Stop avoiding her. A few days earlier, Wendy woke up on time as usual, following her daily routine. She dialed that familiar number once more. Sorry, Wendy, we still haven't found Mark. Her face remained blank. Keep looking, no matter the cost. 7 years of waiting. What's a little longer? There was a charity event at the orphanage that afternoon. Wendy smoothed out her outfit, forced a smile. Mark, do I look nice in this? The room was eerily quiet. No one else there. She stared at her reflection, trying to convince herself. He'll like it. Wendy's done a lot of charity work over the years, and these events were second nature to her now. Today's was for deaf children. A kid eyed a cake on the table, and Wendy passed a piece to him with a grin. He used sign language, which she didn't understand, so she just smiled. Even with all her interactions over the years, sign language never clicked. Except she remembered the gestures Mark once used, though they weren't exactly nice. She recognized one gesture, identical to the way Mark insulted her from his hospital bed. She frowned. Hey, cursing isn't cool. The observant director rushed over. No, you got it wrong. He's thanking you. The last sign means I like you. Wendy trembled, going weak. It means that? Yes, is there a problem? The director was confused by her sudden emotional change. The bullet from 7 years ago struck hard now. Wendy was in pain. A successful woman now, she felt her back bend under the weight. She laughed and cried, covering her face. Little liar. I admit my methods back then were immature. Too decisive, not leaving room for explanation. When facing complex emotions, most people tackle the problems. I chose to end things. I really did like Wendy, but as I told Billy, I don't regret my choices. A year isn't long, but Wendy's immature nature had too many uncertainties. Today, Wendy might rush in for Eric. Tomorrow, she might propose marriage in a heartbeat. I'm all for heroics, but safety first. Expecting me to keep stepping back to protect her wasn't fair. And Wendy's mom's attitude made our future unclear. Don't feed me that love conquers all nonsense. It's for kids. Love without parental support doesn't last. Maybe my solution wasn't perfect, but it avoided future drama. The sadness was real, but so were the academic and career demands. 7 years. Even the most intense feelings fade with time. Mark, someone's out front. The local language caught me off guard for a second. The closer I got, the worse my palms sweat. A name on my lips. I couldn't stop myself. No way. Memories blurred, turning clearer as I approached. She'd shed her girlishness, weary from travel, clothes all wrinkled, curled on the curb. She looked up at me pitifully. Mark. The lines I rehearsed, like long time no see, vanished, replaced by an unexpected anger. Are you crazy? What are you doing here? Wendy's eyes clung to me like glue, ignored my glare. The wedding was my parents' wish. Eric ran off with his love. She blushed. I'm here to run off with mine. Where's your passport? Buy a ticket back now. My voice was cold as I turned away. I'm not leaving. You said you wouldn't wait. I worked hard to catch up. Don't you dare lie to me now. She shadowed me step for step, still the same way she used to bug me in high school. Yet she claimed she'd grown. I got kicked out for this. Lost my passport, no cash. Actually, she'd secretly trashed the passport, then painstakingly tore it apart. I'm stuck here with no idea what to do. You can't ditch me now. Wendy sensed a hint of affection in that gesture. She dared to push, and her heart warmed. If he truly didn't care, he'd be long gone, not standing there listening. Clingy, nagging, talking to himself. Who asked you to elope with me? I was so mad I could barely speak. No time to get money, but you got time to dig up clothes from high school and pretend to be pitiful in front of me. Reminiscing? You're an international CEO with no money? Just a few steps away is your family's business. They'd be happy to take you in. Wendy's eyes lit up, catching the key point. Mark, how do you know that's our family's business? Have you been? I got embarrassed and angry. Who cares about your family's stuff? Your group's name is so big. It's like eggs on your face. Isn't it hard to miss? The two of us kept bickering. People everywhere love to watch drama. More onlookers gathered, and I quickly grabbed Wendy's hand and left. She was giggling behind me. My goodness, what's she laughing at? Wendy tried to sneakily entwine her fingers with mine but stopped when pinched. No choice. Took a few hours off work and brought Wendy to my place. The moment Wendy got in, she was looking around. What are you looking for? Nothing. Just checking for signs of any other women around. Seeing if she's here as the main or the side chick. I'm busy with work. Just stay put here. We'll talk after I'm off. Wendy nodded happily. No help for it, she's head over heels. Colleagues teased. Mark is in a good mood today. Huh? Smiling all day. I touched the corners of my mouth. Rationally, I shouldn't drown in past feelings. But emotionally, I embarrassingly admit, when Wendy really came to Africa to clarify things with Eric, I was kinda happy inside. Opening the door, it wasn't pitch black like usual. Wendy stood in the kitchen, the warm light making her seem homey. I went to the supermarket this afternoon, got the last of this veggie, thankfully. Wash up and eat, like she's the lady of the house. Wendy casually put food on my plate. Had some time this afternoon, cleaned the house, there's a photo of me in the drawer. How'd it get there? She blinked innocently. I didn't bring it, implying, why'd you stash my photo secretly? I swallowed the bite slowly, raised my head, and shot back at her. I hid the photo. Wendy swallowed, the air charged with tension. I pretended not to notice, kept eating. Tastes pretty good. Being stubborn is fine. An afternoon was enough for me to know what I want. I'm still into Wendy. Now I have a bit of income, a decent career, good social standing. Even losing in love doesn't cost me. So why not follow my heart and give it a shot? Not thinking about the future, just enjoying the moment. I'm not that student anymore. Pushed around by her mom, unable to resist. Looking at Wendy peeling shrimp for me, her focus and tenderness. I chuckled softly. Once I got it clear in my head, my attitude changed fast. I threw in a flirt every now and then. Wendy went from confused to overjoyed. Her eyes said she'd devour me whole. She even started picking me up and dropping me off, managing the house like a homemaker. She seemed not to like me working with Helen. Wendy played nice, no tantrums, acting all sweet. Buying clothes in similar colors, acting intimate in front of Helen, or bringing up high school stories when it's the three of us. I suspected Wendy's brain was filled with stuff like that. No harm done, so I let her do her thing. Wendy's instincts were sorta right. Helen looked sad. Are you sure you're spending your life with that woman? Wendy triumphantly rushed over, holding my hand tight, claiming her territory, opening her mouth to say something. Seeing my look, she backed down like a shy bride. I apologized, lifting my hand intertwined with Wendy's fingers. Can't say about the future, but right now, it's her. Wendy hurriedly pulled me home, didn't even turn on the lights. I kissed her first. Wendy reacted like a cat on catnip. Her technique was as clumsy as a cat. Her heavy breaths tickled my neck. She kept asking, Mark, what did you mean earlier? I wrapped my arms around her neck. What do you think it means? Girlfriend. Wendy chased me all the way to Africa, cooked and cleaned for months. Can't be a coward forever. Baby, you said it, no take-backs. Pigmentation-stained fingers gently ticked his rosy lips. No take-backs. For adults, love doesn't need words, just eye contact. A night of madness. Wendy kept whispering in my ear, "Baby, mine. Yours." Epilogue. After the fallout with Mark, Wendy was heartbroken, even breathing hurt. Cried alone in her room. "Damn it, so what if I'm jealous? Said he doesn't like me, then why kiss me?" But soon, Wendy wanted to apologize to Mark. Her fault, stress from studying, was no excuse to take it out on Mark. Maybe that woman tempted Mark. He didn't indulge her anyway. Made a scene, humiliating Mark outside. But Mark had to take back what he said about not liking her. Wendy shut herself away for days, blaming herself. Couldn't stay a second longer, scrambled to find Mark. But guards stopped her, her mom wouldn't let her go. Had a row with her family, bruises to show, finally managed to escape. Borrowed money from a friend, scrimped on a train standing ticket, saved enough to still buy flowers. When she got to Mark's school, he was at a debate. Suit-clad, poised on stage, speaking eloquently. Spotlight shone on him, admired by all. Opponent pushing hard, Mark remained calm and logical, unfazed. Worked seamlessly with a senior beside him. At last, the team stood on the podium with prizes. The senior held a bouquet. Mark gracefully accepted, both smiling, a great pair. In their prime, vibrant and full of life. The world applauded him. Wendy always knew Mark had goals and dreams, unwaveringly pursuing them with determination, unstoppable. She felt insignificant, adjusting her plain dress, hiding the flowers behind. For the first time, she understood Mark's words. To be with Mark, Wendy couldn't just stand below the stage cheering for him. She should strive to stand beside him, the acclaimed winner. A lasting relationship requires equal status, both learning, both growing. Wendy took one last look, clenched her fist, tossed the flowers in the trash, and walked away without looking back. One day, she'd stand in front of Mark, boldly ask, "Mark, do you like me?" Abroad, Wendy braved the days, snuck home whenever possible to see Mark. Walked where he walked, ate what he liked. When things got tough, she'd glance at his photo. Never imagined when she got back, Mark would be in Africa. No one knew exactly where. She searched for 3 years. When the secret was revealed and Mark's whereabouts known, Wendy booked the next flight, rushing to Africa as fast as she could. Thankfully, now as she glanced at the sleeping Mark resting on her arm, Wendy leaned over to plant a kiss. Mark kicked away. "So hot, don't cling to me." Wendy chuckled contentedly, turned on the AC, snuggled back up. So grateful now to have what she wished for.